All right, guys, let's knock this out so you guys can get a Saturday night with your families.
An ideal inside-outside game. Your inside was really good. You shot the three very well. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we showed up at the gym this morning for a little walkthrough, and we saw these 3-point signs, and I think it reminded us that we needed to shoot some threes. I think a better marketing ploy for our team would be if those signs said paint twos and free throws. I mean, that's what I'm looking for next time. But yeah, I mean, listen, we're a good shooting team. And, the way, and Ross is a really good defensive coach, and they have a really sound system. And, we felt like, some of those gaps was going to be, a lot of tight help, and we can maybe get some throw heads in there. And, our guys got some and were able to knock some down. So, that was great. It was great. Our guys did a great job of just kind of playing the game with concepts and there's great fundamentals and great purpose today.
A couple weeks ago, you said Braden Burries still had more to come. It's showing today. Is there still more to come from Burries?
I mean, yeah, I think so. I mean, like I said, I'm not putting any ceilings on any of these guys. I mean, Braden, you can see today he had a good little bounce in his step and a good rhythm to his game. And, I think he's just getting a lot of confidence. He's getting a lot of confidence. And, Braden has he has amazing instincts, for a young basketball player. Now I think he's layering that with some experience where maybe he's understanding what's coming before it's happening a little bit more, and he's able to kind of manipulate certain situations. And, he's responding to situations in the game as opposed to reacting. So, that's a natural growth for a young player, and he's kind of in his sweet spot. I mean, I've always felt that, January would be a big month for him to make a big jump, and it looks to me like he is.
Do you remember the first time you saw him, and what were your impressions on that?
I mean, really good player. Yeah, I mean, probably first time I saw him was at one of those Section 7 tournaments up in Glendale, and yeah, I mean, you just saw, a guard with good size, and just, is he a point guard? Is he a two? Those are great conversations to have. That means you have a really good player. And so, yeah, we saw him early, and we identified him as somebody that we thought would be, a great fit for us. And as we got to know him and his family, I mean, it was the perfect, combination, for us.
We're still feeling a lot better in the locker room after.
I mean, I'm assuming so. I mean, like, Deli's a tough kid, and he's built for this. He's built for this. His journey probably hasn't been easy, and I know it hasn't been without adversity. So this is just another, bump in the road that he's had to deal with, but he's fine. And, I think the thing he's happiest about is our team continues to be successful, while he's been figuring it out. So it's great to see him play like that. And, yeah, I mean, I would, like I said before, I mean, my expectation is we're going to get the best out of Deli when it's needed. And that's a great attribute to have as a competitor.
It just looks like you have a team full of guys that don't really force the issue, and they kind of work themselves into a game. Is this the most selfless team that you've had so far?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm not great. I don't need to compare one team to the next because this team's on its own journey. But I mean, you see guys starting to have an understanding of what we can do and how we can play together. And then I think the biggest thing is, I mean, I think the next step for us, and I've been talking to our guys about, is, we have a great leader in JB and Tobey, and we have high character, but I think our guys need to be a little more intentional, just being a player-led program down the stretch. Our staff's done the best job we could, putting them in position and trying to help them develop, and and helping them through adversity and teaching. But now it's time for them to own the execution, own the fundamentals, own the effort, own the energy. I mean, come on, it's always better to own than rent, right? At least I think it is. So these guys, yeah, I mean, I think we're heading in the direction where they're owning it and they're understanding we have lots of good players. So I don't need to maybe be undisciplined and do something that's too aggressive, that's risky, because, we don't know what we can get 2 passes later. And I'm starting to see that come. But that doesn't mean that won't be challenged on Monday. I mean, it just remember, it doesn't go like this. I mean, there's bumps on the road, and hopefully you're trending up, but we know there's going to be some real challenges ahead.
So when you say owning it, do you mean specifically more responsible?
Yeah, I mean, like I'm not nothing negative. I mean, I'm not negative. I just feel like, when you've been together every day for basically 6 months, and they've been hearing my voice a lot. you know, and our staff's done an incredible job. Our staff's really developed, I think, over the course of this year. These younger coaches are starting to get a lot of experience and kind of come into their own, which has been really powerful. But now, the players got to kind of harness that and own it, and they need to be the catalyst for the next step. And that's my hope.
Tommy, you rarely see a miscommunication on the court, a bad pass or an alley-oop that didn't work. Can you talk about the chemistry of this team, because it's obviously very good?
Yeah, I mean, the chemistry's good. I mean, these guys, they get along on and off the court. I think they really respect each other as people and as players, and I think they're playing with a shared purpose, and we talk a lot about purpose, vision, identity, values. I mean, those are things, when we're kind of building our culture, we focus on those things. And then and then the biggest thing is you got to be authentic about it, because, words, whatever, don't mean anything. It's actions and commitment to those words that matter. So our guys have done an incredible job, connecting and really coming together and have a shared belief system in how we want to be and what type of team we want to be.
The bigs are shooting more and more threes when they're open like that. Is that, at this point, is that ingrained, or are you still encouraging them to
No,
do
I mean,
that?
I never say anything to them about that. And, I might, tell them, hey, you probably didn't need that one there, or things like that. But, I think as you get deeper into the season and you get the rhythm of these games, those are just opportunistic ones. I mean, it's not like we're coming out of a timeout and saying, Mo, when you catch the ball up top, they're not going to guard you, let it rip. I mean, that's Mo's decision, because, I want that, again, the player has to own that decision. And if they own that decision and they've been working hard at it, hopefully they can reward themselves rather than having that decision come from me. So, if they, and I think you end up later in the season, you're on a good team. I've seen this happen in some of the good teams I've been part of the past. Teams come into these games and really just pick their poison. And so, maybe they're just saying, hey, we're going to not guard their bigs up top, and they take a chance with that. So, I mean, and you need to have the wherewithal to not let that bother you, but it's okay if those guys knock down an occasional top of the key three.
West Virginia shot less than 30% from field goal and 3-point in the first half. What did you tell your team anticipating that they would?
Well, so you're talking about coming out into the second half? I mean, I just told our guys, you made that happen in the first half. That just didn't happen. That wasn't the crowd. That was you guys. And so, you come out and recreate that again. And you got to make it happen. You make it happen with effort, energy, urgency, all those, coachisms. And I thought our guys did a pretty good job. I mean, listen, we didn't come out and have a 20-0 run to start the half, but it was steady. And, West Virginia, it's a high-character team and got a really good coach. They responded a few times, and then, we were able to kind of wear them out those last 10 minutes and, make the margin of victory maybe look a little wider than it really was.
BYU coming on Monday night, got a really good team, Richie Saunders, DeBon's, a couple of other players. What makes them so tough?
Well, they're a great team. They're a great team. They got a really good coach. They have a really strong basketball culture at BYU. Obviously, they got a great environment, and they're going to be excited to play. I mean, I'm sure they're focused, 100% on Utah today, just like we were focused on West Virginia. But, we'll start our prep for the game tonight, and we know we're playing a really good basketball team, in a tough place to play. So we know it's going to be an incredible challenge.
What do you remember about that environment? Anything in particular about them?
It's wild. It's loud. It's impressive. all those great things. You should go sometime.
Have you seen Salt Lake are so expensive?
Well, I don't know. Drive.
It's got-
And I coached him for a month. I've seen him play a lot.
Okay, so
Yeah.
what makes him so good, yeah.
I mean, first off, he's an incredible talent, and he's a great young man. I mean, that's the first thing you want to say about him. What I've always been impressed about with AJ is, not only is he a supreme talent, and when you guys watch the game, he's gonna do a few things in that game. You're like, wow. I mean, just the way he moves is different. Is he leaves space in the room for the other players to be their best version of themselves too. And, a lot of times you get a young talent like him, and he's so talented, he can kind of suck the air out of the room because it all becomes about him and his talent. AJ's not like that. So AJ not only can be, the most talented player on the floor, he can also let their other talented players play really well. And I've always been impressed with that.
How did you create that with him in USA? Did that come by itself, or you're trying to create that? And yet, he averaged, 14? I assume he could over his double.
I didn't coach him any different than anybody else. I mean, I was, with AJ for basically a month, and he was great. I mean, we just treated him like everybody else, and I think that's what he wants. And I never talked to him about, it's all the things he had nothing to do with me. They were 100% natural and authentic to who he was. Talent, unselfishness, not afraid of the moment. So yeah, and I just super impressive young man and basketball player.
When you say the way he moves is different, what do you mean by that?
And I don't know if whatever, he's long. He's got great length, and just the way he moves on the court and how much ground he can cover with his steps and his little hops and his length of his sweep throughs and all this stuff, and then he's a great athlete. I mean, you'll just see. I mean, I don't know if I have enough descriptions, but he moves different, and he moves like a really talented young basketball player, like really talented.
Rare to see your team out of control. How important is that going to be down this tough stretch of big ball play?
I mean, it's going to be great. We need to, continue to, understand we're going to be in a lot of tough moments and tough environments, and we got to stay steady and be poised. But again, I don't think we can't be afraid to make teams hit our fastball and be aggressive and still be in attack mode. And we don't need to be conservative. We're protecting nothing because we've done nothing. We're a program that's more excited about what lies ahead than protecting what we've already accomplished. And so what lies ahead for us is BYU. We feel great about how we played against West Virginia today, but that's soon to be in the rearview mirror.
That said, the record for a start is 21-0. You're at 20-0 now. How does that sit with you?
This is called the Bruce Pascoe jinx. Bruce, I'm going to go 1-0. I want to go 1-0 Monday. I want to go 1-0. I'm like the ones that come before it. I mean, I know it makes a great story for you, but inside our locker room, it's just not where our focus is. And I'm not trying to be, that old grouchy coach, but that's just the world we're living in right now. Is just great job today. Let's learn from it. On to the next one. Thanks, guys.